Chapter 2401, Entering the Saint's Tomb. That one over there is Wu Ming, one of the 12 minor kings. He has some strange tricks up his sleeves. The little girl squatting on the ground looks very weak, but don't underestimate her. She is ranked 5th among the 12 minor kings, Hong Luo. And that one. Elder Wu Jian introduced the 12 minor kings that were present to Jian Wushuang one by one. He also did not leave out some famous geniuses who were not part of the 12 minor kings. Jian Wushuang paid attention to them. He had never walked around in the Wuxia wilderness and had little knowledge about the top geniuses of various sects in Wuxia wilderness. Take the 12 minor kings, for example. He had only met by Dao before. He knew nothing about the rest. He had now gained quite some information about them from Elder Wu Jian. At that very moment, a loud buzzing sound emerged. A large group of figures appeared on the glade with the help of spatial passages. The large group of figures appeared and instantly attracted the attention of everyone present. Even the 12 minor kings looked at the group of people. Great Compassion Sect. People from the Great Compassion Sect are here. There are so many of them. There must be around 30 to 40 of them, right? The number of slots to the tomb given to each sect was based on the strength of their sects. The top sects have about 10 places. However, the Great Compassion Sect is the best of all, hence they have 30 slots. Many people started whispering on the glade and they all enviously looked in the direction of the Great Compassion Sect. They were the best sect in the Wuxia wasteland. Most geniuses were eager to be part of them, but they were unable to find an opportunity, so they could only join the other sects. Wow! There are 30 genius disciples, but amongst them, 9 are first-class divine demons. Look at those 4 people. Someone was heard yelling in a deep voice. The genius disciples of various sects on the glade were all staring at the 4 lead disciples of the Great Compassion Sect. The 4 of them consisted of 3 men and 1 woman. The 4 of them stood side by side and attracted much attention. The other geniuses present seemed to have lost their footings before them. Those 4 people are the 12 minor kings of the Great Compassion Sect, right? Asked Jian Wushuang. When he was residing in the Anzhou Commandery, in an event by Anzhou Commandery Governor Bai Yu, he heard that the Great Compassion Sect was a place where top geniuses of the Wuxia wilderness gathered. It was such that the Great Compassion Sect alone had 4 members in the 12 minor kings. Elder Wu Jian nodded. It's them. The Great Compassionate Sect's overall strength and genius disciples ranks are better than other sects. 4 of the 12 minor kings belong to the Great Compassionate Sect. The 4 of them are ranked the 8th, 6th, 3rd, and 1st among the 12 minor kings. The other 3 are easier to handle, but Tu Qiancheng, who is ranked 1st among the 12 minor kings, was an exceptional super genius. He's much better than the others and shines bright even among them. Among the younger generation of Wuxia wilderness, he was peerless. Even though the Wuxia wilderness is producing geniuses, those geniuses are nothing in front of him. Is he that remarkable? Jian Wushuang had his eyes fixed on the strong man with his hands folded and his eyes closed. That strong man was Tu Qiancheng. At that moment, not only Jian Wushuang but many other geniuses were watching him intentionally or unintentionally. Although many of them had a sense of competitiveness shooting up in them, they quickly suppressed their thoughts after their reasonings kicked in. The top genius in Wuxia wilderness, Tu Qiancheng, was not someone anybody could challenge. Not even the 12 minor kings were qualified. If I'm not mistaken, this Tu Qiancheng has now reached peak stage divine demon, right? As such, he shouldn't be able to enter the saint's tomb, right? Said Jian Wushuang suddenly. He had already noticed the aura on Tu Qiancheng. Tu Qiancheng, too, did not try to constrain his aura. He was indeed beyond the first-class divine demons. He probably has just broken through recently. Once he achieved the peak stage divine demon realm, he's no longer a younger generation disciple. He wouldn't be able to enter the saint's tomb. It's strange why he did not suppress his realm first and break through when the tomb opened. Elder Wu Jian frowned. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't care about the opportunities in the tomb at all. Jian Wushuang jeered. Perhaps. Before Tu Qiancheng broke through, he used to kill a peak stage divine demon head-on with his first-class divine demon identity. Now that he has broken through the peak stage divine demon, I suppose is now matchless among the peak divine demon of the Wuxia Wilderland, said Elder Wu Jian. Jian Wushuang's face flickered. Can a first-class divine demon kill a peak-stage divine demon head-on? No wonder he was called the top genius in the Wuxia wilderness. Jian Wushuang, don't be discouraged. You are more talented than Tu Qiancheng, said Elder Wujin again. He knew that Jian Wushuang was comparable to the second-class divine demons in his early stages chaotic realm. His abilities were much higher against Tu Qiancheng. Jian Wushuang smiled at Elder Wujin's words. At the glade, the genius disciples of the various sects have gathered. It's almost time. Let's open the saint's tomb. A fellow elder from the Great Compassion sect spoke. The experts who led the other sects nodded in unison. Under the cooperation of many powerful experts, 8 huge spatial wormholes soon appeared in front of everyone. 8 wormholes? Jian Wushuang was surprised. The saint's tomb is an independent space of its own. These 8 spatial wormholes are all going to the different areas of the tomb's outer area. This is good. After all, the purple amulets are scattered in the outer area. It works better if disciples of various sects are scattered all over the places, said Elder Wujin. Is that so? Jian Wushuang nodded. With the emergence of 8 spatial wormholes, the genius disciples of the various sects were getting ready to enter the tomb. Over at the Great Compassion sect. As in previous sessions, the Great Compassion sect will be divided into 3 teams and enter the tomb through 3 spatial wormholes. Junior brothers, you 3 will each lead a team, said Tu Qiancheng in a deep voice. Yes. 3 of the minor kings who stood by him respectfully nodded. Many disciples of the Great Compassion sect were the first to step into the spatial wormhole, while some of the remaining top sects followed closely behind. Let's go, said Xianxia, who led Narcissus Island. Hence, 10 disciples of Narcissus Island, including Jian Wushuang, also stepped into one of the spatial wormholes. Chapter 2402, Purple Amulet. Inside the saint's tomb, there was a deep yellow, completely desolate land. There was a flash of light before 10 disciples of Narcissus Island appeared on the land. Is this the saint's tomb? Jian Wushuang stood on the ground and looked around. He could feel the difference between where he was and the outside world. The area was lifeless and lacked vitality. We have just entered the tomb. This is the outer area of the tomb. The purple amulets that are required to enter the divine power ocean exist in every corner of the outer area, so we will stay in the outer area for a while to collect those purple amulets before going into the inner area for more opportunities, said Xianxia. Senior brother Xianxia, this outer layer is the largest area in this tomb. If we stay together all the time, chances of finding the purple amulets will be much smaller, and even if we find them, it will be difficult for us 10 disciples to share them all, so I think we should spread out for the time being, said Su Tong, who stood next to Xianxia. Xianxia nodded slightly. Well, I think so too. However, the outer layer is also very dangerous, and disciples of the other sects could come close to us. If 10 of us are scattered out, we might be unable to face the dangers coming our way alone. It's better to go in pairs so that we can take care of each other. As for the purple amulets, they found in pairs, they could share it among themselves. Yes. Su Tong nodded. The other 8 disciples also agreed, including Jian Wushuang. In the outer area, it was wise for 10 disciples to go out in pairs. Let's start assigning the group now, Jian Wushuang. Xianxia looked at Jian Wushuang directly. You can come with me. Heh. Jian Wushuang was taken aback. The other core disciples all looked at Jian Wushuang. They immediately understood that Xianxia's move was to even out the strength of teams, and at the same time, he was also taking care of Jian Wushuang. Everyone knew that Jian Wushuang was only a chaotic realm. In the eyes of those core disciples, he was a burden. If he was paired with ordinary disciples of second-class divine demons, their combat power would be weakened. Xianxia was the strongest among them. If he was in the same team as Jian Wushuang, it's possible for them to handle any risks or dangers that were thrown their way. Senior brother Xianxia, I appreciate your kindness, but I think I should still be with another senior brother. Brother Xiaoheng, how about you and me together? Jian Wushuang smiled. Xiaoheng was startled, but he nodded without hesitation. Of course, it is my honor to be paired with you, junior brother Wushuang. Senior brother Xianxia, I have joined senior brother Xiaoheng, said Jian Wushuang. Xiao Heng, is it okay for you to be with him? Xianxia frowned. Senior brother, don't worry. I'm very confident that there will be no problems with junior brother Wushuang, Xiao Heng answered confidently. He was confident. He knew how capable Jian Wushuang was. It was indeed his honor to be in the same group as Jian Wushuang. In that case, all right. For the sake of safety, we shall still exchange our message tokens with each other and keep a close distance between groups. If there is a danger, I will immediately send help to the group. Understand? Xianxia gave his advice. Yes. Those disciples nodded one by one. The 5 teams were sorted out quickly and they all exchanged their message tokens. The 5 teams then moved in separate ways. Several core disciples gave Jian Wushuang and Xiao Heng a mocking glance before moving away. Jian Wushuang is really stupid. Senior brother Xianxia gave him a chance, but he just let it go. How funny that he went off with Xiao Heng. The same goes for Xiao Heng. He actually blindly agreed. He's a second caste divine demon who has just broken through, yet he went along with a chaotic realm. If they were in danger, who among them could ward it off? Let them be. Anyway, they made their own choices. Even if they drop dead facing the dangers, it has nothing to do with us. Those core disciples were brothers of the same sect, but they were not very close to each other. If they could help, they would try their best. But if the other party was seeking death, they could not be bothered. Just like the team of Jian Wushuang and Xiao Heng, they were obviously seeking death. Little did they know that Xiao Heng was sneering after separating from them. These idiots, they still don't know how strong junior brother Wushuang is. They might regret it as soon as they found out. After everyone went their separate ways, Jian Wushuang and Xiao Heng chose one direction and went straight ahead. On the way, Xiao Heng glanced at Jian Wushuang and asked somewhat restrainedly, "Junior brother Wushuang, your divine power seems to be much stronger than before, am I right?" "Well, I broke through to the peak stage chaotic realm," answered Jian Wushuang. Xiao Heng mumbled to himself. Sure enough. In the beginning, he was only in the middle stage chaotic realm, yet his combat power was enough to match first-class divine demons. Now that he has reached the peak chaotic realm, his combat power must have skyrocketed. How strong is his power now? I am afraid that even senior brother Xianxia might not stand a chance if he fights against him. I wonder if he can fight head-on with the 12 minor kings. Xiao Heng was speculating about Jian Wushuang's real level of power, but he did not dare to probe further. The two skimmed along the way and kept in touch with the other 4 groups. The distance between those 5 groups was not too far apart. Half an hour passed in just a blink of an eye. Jian Wushuang stopped dead in his tracks. What's wrong? Xiao Heng looked over immediately. I can feel 2 types of special auras right over there. Let's go. Jian Wushuang turned swiftly and headed towards the void. Xiao Heng followed closely behind. Soon, both of them arrived at a barren mountain. As soon as they were there, Xiao Heng had also noticed the 2 types of auras. At the same time, they also saw 2 streams of faint purple lights flashing from the top of the barren mountain. Ha ha, it seems like we are lucky. Jian Wushuang smiled heartily. Yes. Xiao Heng also showed a hint of joy. The 2 advanced to the top of the barren mountain where 2 purple amulets were floating around. Jian Wushuang sensed that those 2 purple amulets had a unique aura and went towards them. Purple amulets. There are 2 of them. Jian Wushuang smiled and with a wave of his hand, the 2 purple amulets fell right into his palm. Here, this is yours. Jian Wushuang gave one of the purple amulets to Xiao Heng. Junior brother Wushuang, you discovered these 2 purple amulets. Xiao Heng hesitated. Chapter 2403, Joining forces. Since we are a team, we should split the purple amulets evenly. Jian Wushuang smiled. Xiao Heng accepted the purple amulet without being hypocritical. It's only been an hour and we've already found 2 purple amulets. Looks like there are really quite many of them out here. Let's continue the search, said Jian Wushuang. They continued searching right away. Time flew and 3 days flashed by. In the past 3 days, Disciples from various sects who entered Saint's tomb were mostly staying at the outer area, looking for purple amulets. After all, there was always plenty of time when the Saint's tomb opened up. Even the most important opportunity of all, the final 6 positions to study Fengqian scroll that would only appear individually 1 month later. Hence, the disciples were not in a hurry, and in normal circumstances, those disciples would spend more than 10 days in the outer area. After finding all the purple amulets they could discover 10 days later, they would move towards the inner area. There were a total of 3 purple amulets floating above a vast and desolate field. Whoosh! Whoosh! 2 figures suddenly appeared in the field. 3 purple amulets? Both who arrived were core disciples from Narcissus Island. Their eyes lit up when they saw the purple amulets and kept the amulets in their interspatial rings without hesitation. We found 4 of them before this, and we now found 3 all in one go, which means we found a total of 7 in just 3 days' time. Seems like our luck isn't so bad. The 2 disciples were chatting, apparently feeling rather joyful. However, right then, somebody's here? One of the purple-robed disciples' eyes froze all of a sudden. The auras feel like 1 first-class and 2 second-class divine demons. Let's get out of here. They left immediately without thinking twice after noticing 3 individuals' auras. In the next moment, right after the 2 disciples left, 3 figures appeared where they were. We were slightly late as they were ahead of us, said the green-haired woman among the 3. Too bad, I just sensed the aura of purple amulets. They were all taken by those 2, exclaimed another blonde-haired strong man with a large axe on his back. So far, the last member of the group, a crimson-haired young man, had not said a word. The crimson-haired young man was the only first-class divine demon among the 3 of them. His incredibly evil and strange eyes with a shade of scarlet looked at the direction where those 2 disciples headed. If I didn't see wrongly, aren't those 2 disciples of Narcissus Island? Said the crimson-haired young man quietly. The green-haired woman nodded. Yes. Before we came here, I've gathered information on almost all the genius disciples from every sect. It's true that the 2 who were just here are from Narcissus Island, but they were only second-class divine demon, not the best ones from the island. The best ones are Zhongyi and Su Tong. They both entered Saint's tomb as well, so they're probably close by. Zhongyi? The crimson-haired young man's face froze as soon as he heard that name. More than 10 years ago, when I was wandering and gaining experience, I had a run-in with him. His ability was slightly higher than mine, and he had an assistant with him. I was badly defeated then. I'm still holding that grudge. 10 odd years have passed. Finally, I get to fight him again. Senior brother, are you thinking of seeking revenge in Saint's tomb? The green-haired woman looked over. Of course. It's a rare coincidence to run into Zhongyi again, not to mention it's inside Saint's tomb. How could I miss a rare chance such as this? The crimson-haired young man sneered frostily. But Zhongyi's ability isn't weak. Furthermore, there are a total of 10 genius disciples from Narcissus Island who entered Saint's tomb. They're definitely not weaker than us Black Thunder Pavilion when it comes to numbers and general abilities. I'm afraid it's probably not so easy if we were to provoke them, said the green-haired lady. HMH, it's true that we from Black Thunder Pavilion can't deter them, but can't we look for some help? The crimson-haired young man's lips curved upwards. According to my knowledge, Xianxia from Cold Blood Palace is also close by. In addition, they have beef with Narcissus Island. The last time Saint's tomb was opened, 2 genius disciples from Cold Blood Palace were killed by men from Narcissus Island during the final fight for the 6 positions. The fight in Saint's tomb was ability-based. It was hard to avoid losses of personnel in the process. Cold Blood Palace did not make any remarks afterward either, but they wouldn't feel good about it anyhow. Now that Saint's tomb is open once again, Cold Blood Palace definitely wouldn't go soft on Narcissus Island if there's a chance. Other than that, Xianxia is a friend of mine. I have his message token. I'll try looking for him now. After saying so, the crimson-haired young man immediately took out a token and began establishing communication. Tang Xiao, you wish to touch Narcissus Island in the outer area? Replied Xianxia to him at the first moment. That's right, Narcissus Island's total strength is pretty strong. I'm afraid that Black Thunder Pavilion wouldn't be able to match them, hence I need you to give us a hand, said the crimson-haired young man, Tang Xiao. Na Xiu fell silent for a moment and then answered, Tang Xiao, I know you have some resentment against Zhongyi from Narcissus Island. You've once lost to him big time. It's only normal to seek revenge. However, we're merely at the outer area of the saint's tomb. All the disciples are just looking for some purple amulets. Don't you think it's a bit too flagrant to take action right now? It was truly normal and understandable for all sects when there were casualties and injuries during fights for opportunities in the saint's tomb, for example, the competition for the final 6 positions. However, that was obviously a provocation if 2 sects joined forces against Narcissus Island in the outer area. After all, Narcissus Island was one of the top 10 sects in Wuxia Wilderness. In terms of foundation and abilities, Cold Blood Palace was nowhere near them. Na Xiu naturally was a little worried about that. Moreover, Zhongyi is the most outstanding genius disciple of Narcissus Island. He definitely has a safety token, and with it, it's impossible for you to kill him, said Na Xiu. I understand everything you say. I don't plan to directly kill Zhongyi. I merely want to give him a small lesson. For example, you and I, 2 great sects coming together and force Narcissus Island to give up some purple amulets. If possible, we could think of a way to force Zhongyi into using his safety token, sending him out of Saint's Tomb, and that would be all. In this way, he would have wasted his trip and I could get my revenge. As for the other Narcissus Island disciples, we could go easy on them by just hurting them and not kill them. Isn't that easy? So long as we don't kill their disciples, even Narcissus Island can't say anything. It would just be a brawl between disciples from both sides. We won't do anything overboard, said Tang Xiao. Chapter 2404. Battle Trooper Na Xiu was obviously slightly moved, but he was still a bit hesitant. At that moment, Tang Xiao spoke again. Na Xiu, we've known each other for a while. I'll give you my word. Help me and I'll always remember this favor. Also, after we managed to force the purple amulets out of those Narcissus Island disciples' hands, Black Thunder Pavilion won't take any. The Cold Blood Palace disciples can have it all. Na Xiu's hesitation was lifted after hearing that. All right then, I shall lend you a hand. Where are you now? I'll come right away. I'm at this location. The disciples of Black Thunder Pavilion and Cold Blood Palace had started their secret alliance, going directly against Narcissus Island. However, the 10 disciples of Narcissus Island did not notice the slightest sign of it. On the 5th opening day of Saint's Tomb, everyone was still at the outer area, carefully searching for purple amulets. However, there were only that many purple amulets, which most of them had been discovered after a few days of searching, and not many were left. The chances of more being found were naturally much slimmer. Jian Wushuang and Xiao Heng were skimming side by side, fully releasing their soul power. Our first 3 days were considered quite fruitful. We had discovered 6 purple amulets, but the efficiency had dropped significantly these 2 days as we only found 2. That means we have a total of 8, 4 for each of us. The chances of discovering more purple amulets in the coming few days would be lower and lower. Looks like after 10 days, we would each have a total of 5 or 6 purple amulets, said Jian Wushuang. 5 or 6. That's actually not bad. Xiao Heng nodded slightly. That was true. It was considered quite decent if each person could get 5 or 6 purple amulets after searching for 10 days. Those who did not have such good luck might only find 1 or 2. Just then, Xiao Heng's expression suddenly changed. What is it? Jian Wushuang noticed immediately. It's a message from Wei Qing. His team has run into a big trouble, said Xiao Heng. Big trouble? Jian Wushuang was surprised. The core disciples of Narcissus Island had all formed teams of 2. Wei Qing was in a duo of second-class divine demons. Jian Wushuang knew about him. Among the 10 Narcissus Island disciples sent to Saint's Tomb, his ability was right after Zhongyi and Su Tong. Although he was only a second-class divine demon, if he fought with a regular first-class divine demon, he could certainly persist for a while. There were 3 safety tokens from Narcissus Island, and the last piece was given to him. Partnering up with another second-class divine demon with his level meant they could resolve most crises they ran into. Now that they had run into a big trouble, it had got to be something severe. If I remember correctly, senior brother Wei Qing's team is located not far away from us, right? With our speed, If we rush over at full velocity, we should be able to get there in under an hour. Come, let's not waste time. Jian Wushuang did not hesitate either and immediately left with Xiao Heng. They broke into their fastest speed possible and rushed towards Wei Qing's location. Within an hour's time, Jian Wushuang and Xiao Heng arrived at the void where Wei Qing's team was. As soon as they arrived, they witnessed a terrifying sight. A gigantic 2-meter-tall figure that looked as if it was constructed by purple marble was continuously swinging a huge mace in a frenzy. The mace that it swung was heavy and forceful with impressive momentum. Most importantly, it was incredibly fast. As one strike just went down, another strike arrived immediately. Absolutely barbarous. Right before this huge figure was Wei Qing and another core disciple from Narcissus Island. They were already giving the best of their abilities. Especially Wei Qing. His body had grown a lot bigger. Blood and energy were rushing through his body as he swung his heavy sword to ward off the mace's attacks. However, it was obvious that he was at an absolute disadvantage every time he warded off an attack. With every blow of the mace, he got pushed back further and further. The horrifying recoils had made him bleed and his injury looked serious. Damn, it's a battle trooper and a purple battle trooper on top of that. Its ability was the equivalent of a first-class divine demon. No wonder even Wei Qing has trouble fighting it off. Xiao Heng could immediately recognize the gigantic figure as he arrived. A battle trooper. Jian Wushuang's eyes froze. He had heard of the existence of battle troopers from Elder Wujian's detailed information. There existed some dangers in Saint's Tomb and the battle troopers were one of them. One could say that battle troopers were the guardians of Saint's Tomb, created by the Crimson Stone Saint to stop and destroy practitioners who forced their way into the tomb. There were 3 types of battle troopers: silver battle troopers, purple battle troopers, and crimson battle troopers. Among them, silver battle troopers were equivalent to second-class divine demons. Purple battle troopers, first-class demons. The most terrifying of all were crimson battle troopers. They were comparable to peak stage divine demon. However, the number of those battle troopers were not large and they were scattered in different corners of Saint's Tomb. It was usually rare to encounter them, especially the scariest crimson battle troopers. There were probably a total of 2 or 3 crimson battle troopers scattered in the tomb and rarely made contact with practitioners. Even if they did, the practitioners would escape right away, almost never giving the crimson battle troopers a chance to start their mayhem. With the numerous times Saint's Tomb was opened, there were rarely genius disciples who died in the hands of crimson battle troopers. On the contrary, the purple battle troopers were much more feared. Purple battle troopers were not only comparable to first-class divine demon, their incredible speed was their most crucial quality. After Wei Qing and the other core disciple had been fighting with the purple battle trooper for such a long time, the desire to escape this situation did cross their minds. Unfortunately, it caught up with them. That was the reason Wei Qing's team had immediately called for help from the other core disciples. Fortunately, it's Wei Qing's team who ran into the purple battle troopers. If they were 2 regular second-class divine demons, they wouldn't be able to survive this long, exclaimed Xiao Heng. Senior brother Xiao Heng, don't just stand there. Go to help them. Jian Wushuang pushed. I help them. How about you? Xiao Heng stared at Jian Wushuang. I'm merely at the chaotic realm. I can't even take 1 strike from the purple battle trooper, so I'd better stay here like a good boy. Jian Wushuang smiled. Xiao Heng rolled his eyes upon hearing it but did not say more. His figure blurred and charged directly at the purple battle trooper. Wei Qing, I'm here to help. Xiao Heng attacked immediately, fighting the purple battle trooper together with Wei Qing. Wei Qing and the other core disciple had in fact noticed their arrival earlier on. However, they were not surprised at all when they saw Jian Wushuang standing there without making a move. In their opinion, Jian Wushuang was truly not suitable to participate in this battle based on his abilities. Chapter 2405. The Repel. The purple battle trooper was incredibly overpowering throughout the battle while perpetually oppressing Wei Qing and the rest. However, the pressure that Wei Qing endured had greatly decreased due to Xiao Heng's help. All they needed to do now was to keep on battling until the rest of the Narcissus Island disciples arrived. The 5 teams of Narcissus Island were all in very close proximity. Jian Wushuang and Xiao Heng were the first ones who arrived, but the rest of them were not too far behind either. In only a short moment, another team arrived. though still a duo of second-class divine demons. However, they could finally have a fair fight with the purple battle trooper with 5 people working together after both of them joined in. A while later, Su Tong, who was among the 4th group, arrived. As soon as she arrived, Su Tong directly joined the battle, crossing hands with the purple battle trooper like a bolt of lightning with her first-class divine demon battle strength fully unleashed. She unleashed multiple silent stabs using a spear. The spear's sharp tips stabbed on the purple battle trooper's gigantic body while her body was moving like a ghost. The purple battle trooper's mace swinging speed was fast, but it could not fend off Su Tong's spear. Senior sister Su Tong's spear skills are pretty impressive, and her understanding of the spear arts is also extremely high. Looks like she has arrived at profound achievement in spear arts. Jian Wushuang was quietly shocked. The purple battle trooper was equally a first-class divine demon, however it had no choice but to be manipulated by Su Tong when fighting her. Its mace could not even touch the corners of Su Tong's clothes while her spear hit its body time and again. After more than 10 hits, the purple marble on its surface had shown some cracks despite the purple battle trooper's body being extremely hard. The battle trooper had no intention to keep fighting as it turned away and escaped. Su Tong and the rest did not pursue any further. After all, it was only one of the few battle troopers that Crimson Stone Saint had left in the Saint's tomb. Even if they shattered it, there was no other meaning besides being a waste of energy. It's finally defeated? Su Tong retracted her spear while feeling relieved when she looked at the direction of the purple battle trooper's escape. The battle trooper was really a personal creation of Crimson Stone Saint. Not only was its battle strength strong, but its body was also very solid too. After doing more than 10 of my spear blows on it, I could only inflict a little crack. I probably would have to hit it 100 times to break it apart. Plus, this is not the only battle trooper. The most terrifying ones in Saint's Tomb are the Crimson Battle Troopers. I heard that they are comparable to peak stage divine demons. Su Tong exclaimed. The other core disciples had already relaxed. Wei Qing and the core disciple in his team who fought the purple battle trooper since the beginning, directly sat on the floor while panting really hard. Are you all right? Su Tong walked up and asked. I'm doing quite all right, but senior brother Wei Qing. The core disciple frowned hard. Everyone immediately looked over at Wei Qing and realized that his face was incredibly pale and his aura was also very weak. Su Tong went up right away to check on him. Not too bad. Although he's suffering some serious injuries and used up quite a bit of divine power, that would affect his battle strength for a short period of time. As long as he receives help from elixirs, he'll be able to recover to his peak level within 10 days, said Su Tong. Hearing her words, the core disciples around nodded quietly. Although it was difficult for Wei Qing to utilize his full abilities in the next 10 days, the battle for the final 6 positions was taking place more than 20 days later, so he still had time to recover. Senior sister Su Tong, since senior brother Wei Qing is injured and his power has decreased, his team would definitely be weakened. If they run into another crisis like this, they probably wouldn't be able to hold on for this long. Should we perhaps rearrange the teams? One core disciple voiced out. Yes, it is necessary to rearrange, but no hurry. Let's wait for senior brother Zhongyi's team to arrive before we discuss, said Su Tong. They waited in the field while restoring their divine power. Not long after, Zhongyi's team, which was the last team, had also arrived. At the same time, Zhongyi understood the situation. Junior brother Wei Qing's injuries are not minor. He'd better not fight in these coming days and focus on recovery, so he can be in the same team as me for the next few days in the outer area, said Zhongyi. Yes. Su Tong and the rest all agreed. It was safe to say that Zhongyi really lived up to the term senior brother as the most outstanding Narcissus Island genius disciple of his generation and leader of the 10 core disciples at the Saint's Tomb. Previously, he suggested Jian Wushuang to team up with him in order to balance out each group's ability while not neglecting Jian Wushuang, which Jian Wushuang unfortunately declined. Now that Wei Qing was injured and could not fight, he asked Wei Qing to join his team. The 5 teams were rearranged. As soon as their divine powers were restored, they could start moving again to look for more purple amulets. Suddenly, in the void not far away from them, black dot lines appeared out of the blue. The black dot lines were charging towards them at incredible speed. Zhongyi, Su Tong, and Jian Wushuang immediately noticed the black dot's presence as they simultaneously looked towards the same direction. That's... Zhongyi locked his eyebrows. Are they genius disciples from other sects? Su Tong squinted. In the blink of an eye, the black dots that were still on the edge of the sky had already appeared before them. A total of 10 figures floated before them. Leading the 10 people was a crimson-haired young man, Tang Xiao from Black Thunder Pavilion. I was still wondering who you were. Looks like it's people from Black Thunder Pavilion. Zhongyi sneered mildly when he made out who they were. He looked at the one moving towards him. Tang Xiao, it's been a while. Your injury recovered pretty fast and your arms have healed too? Tang Xiao's facial muscles were twitching slightly upon hearing his words. More than 10 years ago, he suffered a big defeat against Zhongyi. Not only was he severely injured by Zhongyi, both his arms were also chopped off by Zhongyi in front of everyone. If Zhongyi did not take his status as Black Thunder Pavilion's disciple into consideration, Tang Xiao would probably have been killed. That battle, although more than 10 years had passed, was the biggest humiliation Tang Xiao had ever suffered. He was there to take revenge, but before he could say anything, Zhongyi had already spread salt on his wound. His feeling of shame was burning his face, and the fires of rage started to build up inside. Chapter 2406. Coerce Zhongyi. You're laughing now, but you won't be able to soon. Tang Xiao stared closely at Zhongyi. What? You're here looking for trouble with just you and your people from Black Thunder Pavilion? Zhongyi's eyes turned frosty. Ha ha, that surely wouldn't be enough, but do you think we're the only ones who have beef with you? Tang Xiao burst out laughing. Just as his voice faded, there were a few dark figures appearing in the void not far away and arrived in front of everyone in a blink of an eye. There were 5 of them, and the group leader was a bald man with a violent aura. You are Xianxia of Cold Blood Palace. Zhongyi's expression changed. Zhongyi, Su Tong, I've long been hearing your names. We finally met. The bald man Na Shiyu cracked open his mouth and smiled. It was a cold smile. Na Shiyu, what does Cold Blood Palace want? Do you want to become enemies with Narcissus Island? Said Zhongyi coldly. Back where Tang Xiao was from, Black Thunder Pavilion had a general strength that was not far behind Narcissus Island. Zhongyi could not use Narcissus Island to coerce him. However, Cold Blood Palace was far from comparable to Narcissus Island, which was evident through the fact that there were only 5 of their disciples who got into Saint's Tomb. Once Zhongyi saw the arrival of 5 Cold Blood Palace disciples, he mentioned Narcissus Island's name at the very first moment. Becoming enemies with Narcissus Island? This is nothing but competition between the disciples. We have no intention of antagonizing Narcissus Island. Besides, the last time Saint's Tomb was open, we had a few disciples who died in Narcissus Island disciples' hands, and it was due to a fair fight, thus we didn't say anything. Now that we just arrived, you're already accusing us of antagonizing Narcissus Island. Na Shiyu gave Zhongyi an insulting look. Na Shiyu, don't waste your breath talking to him. Let's do it, said Tang Xiao right after. All right then. Na Shiyu nodded. The disciples from both sects immediately activated their attack. Oh no! All of Narcissus Island's disciples looked troubled. They could handle the attacks if they were only facing Black Thunder Pavilion, but now that there was also Cold Blood Palace, it was important to remember that there were 10 disciples from Black Thunder Pavilion. If the 5 disciples from Cold Blood Palace were added on, there were a total of 15 opponents, with the weakest ones all being second-class divine demons, and a total of 3 first-class divine demons, with 2 first-class divine demons from Black Thunder Pavilion and Na Shiyu, which was 1 more than Narcissus Island. That caused a huge total strength gap between Narcissus Island and its opponents. If they fought, careful! Block them! All disciples from Narcissus Island began to take action, establishing the battle against Black Thunder Pavilion and Cold Blood Palace within moments. An intense fight had immediately broken out. Zhongyi unsheathed his battle blade while Su Tong also joined in with her spear, and both their faces looked grim. This is the outer area. There is no obvious fight for opportunities. The men from Black Thunder Pavilion and Cold Blood Palace wouldn't dare to kill, said Zhongyi. Su Tong nodded. True. However, they could still heavily injure us even if they don't dare to kill us, making us lose our battle strength in the short time, so that we can't fight for the final 6 positions. Let's all be careful and try not to get hurt. I've sent a message to the second elder, requesting her to look for people from Black Thunder Pavilion and Cold Blood Palace. Xianxia announced. Ha ha. Xianxia, you better worry about yourself for now. With a hearty laugh, Tang Xiao had already appeared before Xianxia with Na Xiu next to him. Na Xiu, we'll work together. Let's teach Xianxia a good lesson today, said Tang Xiao. No problem. Na Xiu smiled. Both of them simultaneously attacked, dashing at Xianxia like flashes of lightning. 2 against 1. Su Tong was also entangled in a fight with another first-class divine demon from Black Thunder Pavilion. When it came to abilities, Xianxia was the strongest individual amongst everyone in the battle. If it was a one-on-one fight, neither Tang Xiao or Na Xiu could have the upper hand, though the difference was small. When it came to 2 against 1, he was totally overpowered. Tang Xiao, what are you two exactly up to? Flames of rage were burning in Xianxia's eyes as he was crazily swinging his battle blade, already releasing his strongest battle strength. Even so, he could merely block their attacks and gradually lose his stand. Ha ha, what do we want to do? You still don't know? How did you treat me more than 10 years ago? I want to pay you back in full. Tang Xiao laughed hard, but his eyes were extremely cold. Funny, do you think I would be worried about you if we fought one-on-one? Xianxia growled deeply and immediately looked over at Na Xiu. Na Xiu, what would make Cold Blood Palace willing to retreat? It's easy if you want me to retreat. Give me 30 purple amulets and we will leave right away, said Na Xiu. Xianxia was shocked, hearing those words. Purple amulets were the most commonly seen items in Saint's Tomb. Almost every genius disciple could find a few if they made a detailed search in the outer area. Narcissus Island disciples had gained quite a harvest in the passing 5 days. However, there were only less than a total of 40 purple amulets pieces among the 10 Narcissus Island disciples, and Na Xiu was asking for 30 of them. That was a robbery. Na Xiu, you're asking for too much, shouted Xianxia. Too much. Na Xiu's face turned cold. Looks like you haven't yet understood the situation. Tang Xiao, let's go in harder. Sure. Tang Xiao was very excited. Both of them carried out a frenzied offense, and Xianxia was being pressured to the point that he lost all his temper. Not only Xianxia, but the rest of Narcissus Island's disciples were also completely on the passive side in the battles. They were all second-class divine demons, but Narcissus Island was clearly outnumbered. On the battlefield, Jian Wushuang had also taken action. The one fighting against Jian Wushuang was a strong blonde man. He was incredibly vicious at waving his weighty and powerful giant axe. However, he noticed that Jian Wushuang was merely at chaotic realm, hence he did not dare to unleash his full strength as he worried that he might kill him by accident. If someone from Narcissus Island died, the nature of their battle would completely alter. As long as the opponent did not get killed, it was not a problem to injure or cripple him. Boy, you have some guts coming to Saint's Tomb as a mere chaotic realm fighter. Are you seeking death? See how I teach you a lesson. The strong blonde man viciously grinned and swung his axe directly at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang had a long sword in his hand, but not the Blood Mountain sword. It was only a regular sword. Facing the incoming axe, he raised his sword to block and easily ward off the attacks. One in the raw, the author wrote, which was evident through the fact that there were only 5 Cold Blood Palace disciples who got into Cold Blood Palace. The translation team suspects that it was a mistake on the author's part, thus we have translated as such. Chapter 2407, The Ice Queen Her, he blocked it? The strong blonde man's face betrayed his surprise. Let's go again. That time, the strong blonde man added more strength to his hand. The big axe continuously swung out with the occasional heavy chops and sideways slices, charging like rolling waves at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang was seemingly calm when facing the attacks and casually waved his sword. It was only a regular sword, but his movements were flawless with almost no weak points. Clang! 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 With every weapon clash, the strong blonde man's strength became stronger. However, no matter how he increased his strength, Jian Wushuang's sword could still head-to-head ward off his axe. After tens of clashes, The strong blonde man had pushed his strength to the extreme of third-class divine demon, but he still could not inflict any damage on Jian Wushuang. This kid. The strong blonde man began feeling mad, as the strength in his hands rose again. He was giving his all this time and not holding back anymore. The battle strength of a second-class divine demon was fully unleashed. With another clang, his vicious axe strike was once again blocked by Jian Wushuang, who remained calm as usual. Bastard! Are you messing with me? The strong blonde man was finally outraged. At that point in the intense battle, even a fool could tell that Jian Wushuang had been playing around with him. In the beginning, Jian Wushuang could calmly ward off because he was holding back his strength by barely releasing the strength of third-class divine demon. Now that he had completely unleashed all the divine powers that he had as a second-class divine demon, Jian Wushuang could still calmly handle it. It was obvious that Jian Wushuang was also holding back for the entire time and not calling his opponent out. He was clearly playing with the strong blonde man. Kid, you've pissed me off. Now drop dead. The strong blonde man let out a deep growl. His giant axe and body began to glow with a golden hue. The strong blonde man suddenly turned into a dash of lightning while his axe became a golden thunderbolt, hacking forward at Jian Wushuang. The power of his strike was incredibly terrifying that even a second-class divine demon would have to take it very seriously. However, Jian Wushuang was very calm when he saw the golden bolt of lightning. With the sword in his hand, he stabbed horizontally outwards without any fanciness. It was just a simple stab, but it went straight into the middle of the bolt. Crackles and sizzles ensued while the bolt of lightning dissolved with golden electric currents shooting outwards into every direction. The strong blonde man's powerful hit was still warded off easily by Jian Wushuang. The blonde strong man's expression turned from outrage to complete shock. He already gave his heaviest possible blow, and yet, the chaotic realm Jian Wushuang could still withstand it? Not to mention that he remained absolutely calm throughout. The strong blonde man simply could not accept that. Jian Wushuang was infinitely indifferent. His facial expression did not change a bit. He could easily withstand even the most powerful hit from a first-class divine demon, let alone a second-class. The surrounding situations don't look very positive. Jian Wushuang even had the capacity to keep a lookout at the battlefield during all that. He had only fended off a second-class divine demon, but the other second-class divine demon disciples from Black Thunder Pavilion and Cold Blood Palace were still fighting with Narcissus Island disciples. Due to their advantage in numbers, the Narcissus Island disciples were naturally at a clear disadvantage, as on Wei Qing's side. Wei Qing fought a purple battle trooper just moments ago and was severely injured. His ability had declined a great deal. He was thoroughly overpowered when fighting another extremely powerful second-class divine demon, and his injuries got more severe. It was very hard for him to keep enduring. None of the Narcissus Island disciples around could find a chance to help him, as they were all being overpowered, after all. Meanwhile, on the side of first-class divine demons, Su Tong was fighting neck and neck with the first-class divine demon from Black Thunder Pavilion, while Xianxia had been completely suppressed by Tang Xiao and Na Xiu, without having a chance to help anybody else. If this continues, senior brother Wei Qing would have to use his safety token to retreat from Saint's Tomb, before the second elder at the Outer Realm could finish negotiations with Black Thunder Pavilion and Cold Blood Palace. Looks like I'll have to do something, Jian Wushuang said to himself. In fact, Jian Wushuang did not wish to prematurely show his true abilities. That way, he could have a big advantage during the fight for the 6 positions in the inner area with significantly higher chances of winning a position. However, if he took action at that moment, words about his abilities would naturally go around and genius disciples from every sect would know about it. By then everyone would be on guard against him, hence it would not be as easy to win a position. Previously, Jian Wushuang simply wanted to uneventfully reach the final stage with the Narcissus Island disciples and only made his move when the 6 positions appeared. However, he had no choice but to take action with the situation he was facing. After all, those were his senior and junior brothers from the same sect. He could not allow them to get bullied by those people from Black Thunder Pavilion and Cold Blood Palace. He took a deep breath and raised his head. His eyes were already giving a penetrating gaze. On the nearby battlefield, Xiao Heng was having an intense fight with an incredibly powerful second-class divine demon. However, he would often glance over at Jian Wushuang during the battle. Xiao Hang's eyes lit up when he saw the change in Jian Wushuang's facial expression. Finally making a move? Xiao Hang was well aware that Narcissus Island was at an absolute disadvantage in the battle. However, as long as Jian Wushuang was willing to give his all during a disadvantage like this, the tables would turn. Jian Wushuang was about to make his move, but he stopped. Is there a turnaround? Jian Wushuang glanced at the void on the side and noticed a few figures dashed towards their direction at high speed. Whoosh! 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 4 figures appeared in the void surrounding the battlefield. Look what we have here. Quite a party, isn't it? Sarcastic laughter filled the air, everyone on the battlefield could hear it. All those who were fighting Narcissus Island, Black Thunder Pavilion, and Cold Blood Palace disciples looked over. Among the 4 newcomers, 3 of them were only second-class divine demons, but their leader was a valiant and beautiful lady in green armor, a true first-class divine demon. Zhong Yi, Tang Xiao, and Na Xiu were all surprised to see such a beauty. Looks like she's Zhuo Bing from Ancient Star Temple. Zhuo Bing? The Ice Queen. It's her. Knowing who had arrived, both Tang Xiao and Na Xiu had fear written on their faces. The Ice Queen enjoyed fairly substantial fame among the younger generation in Wuxia Wilderness, at least a lot more famous than both of them. Even Zhong Yi was slightly weaker than the Ice Queen. Zhuo Bing, the Ice Queen? Jian Wushuang froze when he heard that name. He immediately glanced over at the green-armored lady, and his expression became weird upon seeing her. Chapter 2408, Tough Zhuo Bing, what are you doing here? Tang Xiao said frostily. Oh, nothing much, just passing by. You guys go ahead. The green-armored lady, Zhuo Bing, smiled mildly. Passing by. Tang Xiao and Na Xiu both frowned. Miss Zhuo Bing, could you please give us a hand? Narcissus Island will show gratitude handsomely afterward, said Zhong Yi right after. He did not have any friendship with Zhuo Bing, and that could even be considered their first encounter. Furthermore, Narcissus Island and Ancient Star Temple usually did not have much interaction. However, they had no hatred for each other either, hence his desire to seek a helping hand from Zhuo Bing. I'm sorry, I have no intention to be mixed up in your issues. Zhuo Bing rejected straight away. Zhong Yi could not do anything after she said so. On the other hand, Tang Xiao and Xiu felt relieved. Although Zhuo Bing's group appeared unexpectedly, the outcome would still be the same as long as she did not take action. However, right at that moment, Big Sister! A resonant voice suddenly filled the entire battlefield. Even Zhuo Bing, who was outside of the battlefield, could hear it. Big Sister! Zhuo Bing was slightly surprised and looked over to the source of the voice, spotting Jian Wushuang right away. However, she did not look surprised when she saw him. Big Sister, it's me. I'm Jian Wushuang, said Jian Wushuang again. Zhuo Bing's expression finally changed when Jian Wushuang mentioned his own name. She looked surprised at him. Jian Wushuang? Your little brother? Yes, it's me. Jian Wushuang nodded non-stop, wearing a smile on his face. He was born in the Zhuo clan in his current life. His father, Zhuo Yunfeng, had 1 daughter and 2 sons. The eldest daughter was Zhuo Bing, the second was Zhuo Peng, and Jian Wushuang was the youngest child. Over 100 years ago, Jian Wushuang's elder sister Zhuo Bing joined a certain sect and had been cultivating in the sect, hence she seldom returned to Anzhou Commandery. Therefore, from the moment he was born into his current life, Jian Wushuang had never really met this big sister. What he did not expect was he could actually meet his unknown big sister in the saint's tomb. After identifying Jian Wushuang, Zhuo Bing lifted her jesting spectator's expression and replaced it with a frosty face. Take out your weapons and follow me. Zhuo Bing let out a low growl and a bright red staff appeared in her hands. Senior Sister Zhuo Bing, which side are we helping? Asked a second-class divine demon. Nonsense, of course we're helping Narcissus Island. Zhuo Bing said coldly as her body had already charged forward in an instant. In the blink of an eye, Zhuo Bing was already on the battlefield, arriving at the side of the strong blonde man who was just fighting with Jian Wushuang. Scram! Zhuo Bing's shout resonated as her bright red staff viciously lashed out. What? The strong blonde man was startled but managed to react. His body once again glowed with surging golden electric currents and hacked forward with his thunderbolt-turned giant axe. With a loud boom, the golden thunderbolt instantly fell apart. The strong blonde man's giant axe flew out of his hands due to the impact. Puke! The strong blonde man threw up a big gulp of blood and flew out like a cannonball. The sudden change of scenario brought the entire battlefield into a short momentary silence. Little brother, are you hurt? After fighting off the strong blonde man, Zhuo Bing's figure blurred and appeared next to Jian Wushuang. No. Jian Wushuang shook his head. Good then. Zhuo Bing was relieved. Everyone on the battlefield looked over at Zhuo Bing. Zhuo Bing, what do you think you're doing? Tang Xiao shouted in anger. Miss Zhuo Bing, I thought you said you wouldn't join the fight. Na Xiu frowned as well. The Narcissus Island disciples, however, all looked delighted. H&H, you dare bully my younger blood brother and expect me not to get involved? Zhuo Bing's face turned very cold. Younger blood brother. Everybody was dumbfounded and looked over at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang was the Ice Queen's younger brother? They did not even share the same surname, let alone their facial features. Zhuo Bing, perhaps there is some kind of misunderstanding, said Tang Xiao. Misunderstanding? None whatsoever. You have the guts to bully my young brother. If I don't beat your teeth out and make you look for them all over the floor, I don't deserve the Ice Queen title. Eat this. Zhuo Bing was not in the mood to explain anything to Tang Xiao. Her figure blurred, appearing in front of Tang Xiao after a flash. The staff in her hands suddenly turned bigger and formed a skyscraping shadow staff in a split second, slamming down directly at Tang Xiao. Damn it! Tang Xiao was extremely angry and frightened. He had no time to suppress Xianxia anymore and turned around to start battling Zhuo Bing. Zhuo Bing and he were both first-class divine demons, with both being geniuses as well. Theoretically, their ability should have been similar, however. Boom! 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 Blow by blow, the vicious shadow staff perpetually slammed over without any fanciness. The power was frighteningly strong while its speed was extremely fast. The continuous frenzy and angry blows did not give Tang Xiao any opportunity to catch his breath. Almost immediately, Tang Xiao was being suppressed by the frightening shadow staff. That's so powerful! The surrounding disciples who witnessed it could not help but to exclaim. It was truly incredibly powerful. At least for those disciples, the shadow staff was too scary. Most importantly, the shadow staff perpetually attacked blow by blow. It was extremely terrifying. Even Jian Wushuang could not hide his shock as he watched Zhuo Bing's continuous staff shadows. This big sister of mine, she's this tough. Jian Wushuang murmured to himself. Tough. Exactly. At that moment, Zhuo Bing could really be described as tough. Her attack method was extremely simple, barbarous, and vicious. It could also be extended to the way she carried herself, extremely overbearing. No wonder she gained the nickname Ice Queen, however. What Jian Wushuang did not expect was that his big sister had such strong capabilities. Even Tang Xiao was instantly being suppressed to the point where he could not fight back. That kind of battle strength was even a bit stronger than Zhong Yi. She was probably almost comparable to the last few 12 minor kings. However, according to what he knew, his big sister's abilities were not that strong. He remembered that his father, Zhuo Yunfeng, mentioned to him that his big sister did return home once not long before Jian Wushuang was born. According to Zhuo Yunfeng's account, his big sister had already broken through to Chaotic Realm. If it took her 20 over years to reach the Chaotic Realm, then it was impossible that Zhuo Bing could become first-class divine demon within another 20-odd year, let alone possessing such a level of ability. After all, Zhuo Bing was not reincarnated, hence her cultivation speed should not be so fast. Obviously, Zhuo Bing had probably achieved divine demon realm a lot earlier. She probably had even been a first-class divine demon for a long time. Perhaps Zhuo Yunfeng's abilities were not strong enough to tell, thinking that she was only in the chaotic realm. Looks like this big sister of mine is a lot stronger than I had imagined. Jian Wushuang was secretly exclaiming in surprise. Chapter 2409, Big Sister. The situation on the battlefield changed due to the participation of Zhuo Bing and the others. Narcissus Island's second-class divine demons had gradually overcome the disadvantage with help from the 3 ancient Star Temple disciples. As for the first-class divine demons, they were at a huge advantage. Zhuo Bing suppressed Tang Xiao with an aggressive and precise combat skill, which also relieved Xianxia's pressure. Previously, Xianxia was struggling against 2 enemies, hence naturally he was losing. However, when he was battling head-on with Na Xiu, which was obviously not his opponent, Na Xiu looked like he was on the losing end. Tang Xiao, we can't hold it anymore. Let's retreat, roared Xiu. Tang Xiao looked awful, but he was very unwilling. He was beaten by Xianxia more than 10 years ago and was still being humiliated till today. When he finally found a chance for revenge to wash off his shame, he encountered Zhuo Bing. He was reluctant to just leave like that. At that moment, someone is here again? At that exclamation sound, many turned to look at a void. Not far away were 4 figures dashed in. The 4 figures soon approached. Tang Xiao and Xiu instantly knew who they were. They are from the ancient Star Temple led by their top genius, Ling Dan. DMN it. We really have to go now. Tang Xiao dared not stay anymore. With the addition of 4 people from Zhuo Bing and her team members, the battle situation had been reversed and they were no longer at an advantage. He intended to create more trouble for Narcissus Island, but the arrival of Ling Dan ruined his plans. Ling Dan was one of the 12 minor kings. His strength was undeniable even though he was ranked last. Both Ling Dan and Zhuo Bing came from the ancient Star Temple, so without hesitation, he would stand by Zhuo Bing's side, and it would only be more difficult for them to retreat later on. Quickly retreat. Tang Xiao let out a low yelp. Hurry up. Xiu also shouted. The disciples from Black Thunder Pavilion and Cold Blood Palace did not hesitate at all. They instantly moved away from their opponents and began retreating. Tang Xiao and Xiu wanted to immediately escape too. Leaving? How could it be so easy? Zhuo Bing pulled a cold and hard face, but that did not stop her from chasing after the enemies. Tang Xiao was furious and had to reveal his strongest trump card. Only with that did he manage to get rid of Zhuo Bing. Zhuo Bing, I remember what happened today. I won't give up easily. Sooner or later, I'll be back. Tang Xiao left a ruthless remark when he left. After only a brief moment, the disciples of Black Thunder Pavilion and Cold Blood Palace were almost gone. Narcissus Island disciples finally breathed a sigh of relief in the void. Was he thinking of taking revenge? I'm here waiting. Zhuo Bing smiled coldly while looking at the direction Tang Xiao was leaving. Junior sister, what's going on here? Ling Dan, who came over, appeared beside Zhuo Bing and frowned while checking around. It's nothing. I just had a battle with those people from Black Thunder Pavilion and Cold Blood Palace, answered Zhuo Bing casually. Ling Dan's expression was strange. Whether it was Zhuo Bing herself, Ancient Star Temple, Black Thunder Pavilion, or Cold Blood Palace, there was no hatred in between. Unless the other party had nothing better to do, they would never take initiative to stir things up. If that was the case, how did Zhuo Bing meet the disciples from 2 major sects? Miss Zhuo Bing. Zhong Yi and Su Tong went over to Zhuo Bing. Thank you for your help just now. Otherwise, I'm afraid that Narcissus Island will suffer a big loss. Don't mention it. I didn't do it for Narcissus Island, said Zhuo Bing. Thereafter she immediately walked towards Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang smiled seeing Zhuo Bing, who was approaching him, and said, the mighty big sister. You come over here with me. Zhuo Bing took Jian Wushuang directly to a corner. Brother, what's the matter with you? My father sent me a message before, saying that you went to Narcissus Island and became an outer disciple. How could an outer disciple that's not even a divine demon realm come into the saint's tomb? Zhuo Bing stared at Jian Wushuang and solemnly asked. Although she had never met Jian Wushuang before, Zhui Yunfeng had already informed her of some matters about Jian Wushuang. She also knew that she had a younger brother who was extremely talented in sword arts. However, she did not expect that she would encounter Jian Wushuang in Saint's tomb. I was able to come to Saint's tomb due to some special reasons. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly but did not explain too much. Well, since you won't say it, I won't ask anymore. You should know that Saint's tomb is full of dangers. It's still manageable in the outer area, but the competition will be nasty when it comes to the inner area, especially during the fight for the last 6 seats. The people from Narcissus Island will definitely get involved. I'm afraid you won't even know how you end up dying with your abilities, said Zhuobing. Jian Wushuang was speechless. Obviously, his eldest sister was not aware of his real strength. He figured that either Zhui Yunfeng did not tell her in detail, or she did not believe what Zhui Yunfeng might have said. Big sister, I know what you are worried about. I'll be very careful when I get to the inner area, said Jian Wushuang. Of course you have to be careful. Nevertheless, being careful is of not much help anyway with your abilities. Zhuobing looked at him and took out a token. This token is for you. If you encounter a life and death crisis in the Saint's Tomb, don't hesitate to crush this token. Is this the safety token? Jian Wushuang was curious. There were 3 safety tokens in the Saint's Tomb among the disciples of Narcissus Island. They were with Zhongyi, Su Tong, and Wei Qing. The strength of the ancient Star Temple was not much inferior to that of Narcissus Island. They had 2 safety tokens which were with Zhuobing and Ling Dan. Without hesitation, Zhuobing gave her safety token to Jian Wushuang. You are really my big sister. Jian Wushuang was moved. Brother, you must keep this safety token. Zhuobing handed the safety token to Jian Wushuang, but Jiao Wushuang did not accept it. Junior sister. Ling Dan was calling out as he walked over. Ling Dan had been paying attention to Zhuobing and Jian Wushuang. When he saw Zhuobing wanted to give her safety token to Jian Wushuang, he could no longer hold his tongue. Junior sister, what are you doing? This is a safety token. With this token, it's as if you get 1 more life in Saint's Tomb. This is your greatest life-saving tool. How can you simply give it to others? Ling Dan frowned. At the same time, he looked at Jian Wushuang with a hint of coldness. Of course, that was also because he had just arrived and still had no idea about the relationship between Jian Wushuang and Zhuobing. Chapter 24:10, Safety Token. Senior Brother Ling Dan, I know what I'm doing. You don't have to tell me what to do. Zhuobing gave a sideway glance at Ling Dan. Junior sister, I'm doing this for your own good. This is the only safety token you have, which Elder Kang painstakingly got it from the Temple Master. How can you simply give it away to an outsider, said Ling Dan. Since the Temple Master has given it to me, it's now mine. I shall decide on how it's used. Besides, I'm not giving it away to an outsider. He is my brother, not an outsider, said Zhuobing coldly. Brother? Ling Dan was shocked. He subconsciously glanced at Jian Wushuang and found the latter looking at him with a smile. He is your brother. From that moment onwards, Ling Dan looked very differently at Jian Wushuang. He was initially a little cold and wary of Jian Wushuang. However, his expression softened, and even had a gentle smile on his face after realizing who Jian Wushuang was. I see. May I know your name, brother? Asked Ling Dan with a smile. Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang uttered his name. So you are Brother Wushuang? Ling Dan smiled. Brother. Jian Wushuang was startled that his expression was even weirder than before. He could notice Ling Dan was interested in his elder sister, but he seemed a little muddle-headed. The Saint's Tomb is a dangerous place. It's indeed a risky place for Brother Wushuang, who is of chaotic realm. It's necessary to have a safety token for protecting your life, but instead of using junior sisters, I'll give you mine. Ling Dan took out his safety token and gave it to Jian Wushuang. Oh. Jian Wushuang raised his brows and glanced at Ling Dan in surprise. Although this guy is a little stupid, he seems to have a good heart. This safety token is equivalent to an additional life in the Saint's Tomb, yet he is willing to give away such an important item on behalf of my big sister. It seems that he really is sincere to my big sister. Zhuobing was also a little surprised, but she curtly turned Ling Dan down. I will just give my safety token to my little brother. Brother Ling Dan need not be worried. It's all right, it's just a safety token. It's kinda useless to me, said a confident-sounding Ling Dan. What he had said was true. As one of the 12 minor kings, he could still put up a good fight even if he encountered peak divine demons. An expert like him would be safe within Saint's Tomb as long he was careful. Zhuobing frowned. Jian Wushuang spoke. Big sister, brother Ling Dan, I understand your kindness. Actually, I don't need the safety token. Stop fooling around. Zhuo Bing glared at him. Big sister, what I said is the truth. Your little brother is actually not as weak as you think. I really don't need the safety token. Although there is danger everywhere in the saint's tomb, I have brother Zhongyi with me. I'll just be careful and not contest for the final 6 seats. In that case, I think I'll be fine, said Jian Wushuang. Zhuo Bing was still a little worried. She took a deep look at Jian Wushuang and asked, will you really give up competing for those 6 seats? Of course, big sister. Think about it. Am I not seeking death if I'm to fight for those 6 seats as a chaotic realm? I haven't lived long enough. Jian Wushuang smiled. What he said to Zhuo Bing was merely perfunctory. Giving up the fight for those 6 seats. What a joke. He was there for those 6 seats. In that case, forget it. Zhuo Bing did not insist any further and took back the safety token. Brother, you must be careful in the saint's tomb. Don't be aggressive. Don't make a fool of yourself. That's for sure. Jian Wushuang nodded. No. I'm still worried, so you should just stay with me from now on, said Zhuo Bing. No need for that. Jian Wushuang rolled his eyes. Senior brother Zhong Yi takes care of me. He kept wanting me to stay by his side before. With senior brother Zhong Yi and the others, I won't be in any danger. Zhuo Bing pondered for a moment hearing that and finally nodded. Well, then you should be extra careful. Zhong Yi, thank you for taking care of my little brother, said Zhuo Bing. Miss Zhuo Bing can rest assured. Junior brother Jian Wushuang is from the same school as us. I'll definitely do my best to protect him, said Zhong Yi assuringly. Thank you. The Black Thunder Pavilion and the Cold Blood Palace have been eyeing your group. Although they have temporarily retreated, it's not guaranteed they will just simply let you off. After all, both your groups are near to each other. It's easy for them to attack you, so I think it's better for you to go earlier into the inner area to restore your state of power and realm. Zhuo Bing looked around at the several Narcissus Island disciples whose powers were extremely weak now. Especially Wei Qing, his face was pale. If they faced another attack from Black Thunder Pavilion and Cold Blood Palace, it would be difficult for them to parry off the attack. Understood. We will consider it. Zhong Yi nodded slightly. We will make a move first. Zhuo Bing and Ling Dan did not linger around. After giving advice to Jian Wushuang, the Ancient God Temple's party left. Zhuo Bing wanted to bring Jian Wushuang along, but Jian Wushuang refused. Moreover, she was also responsible for the Ancient God Temple disciples who might not want to stay with Jian Wushuang, who seemed like a burden. She had to eventually give up on her idea. After Zhuo Bing and the others left. Jian Wushuang, I didn't expect the famous Ice Queen to be your big sister. Ice Queen. Her behavior is crazy and domineering as her name suggests, and she is really powerful. You have seen her combat skills, haven't you? Tang Xiao was nowhere her match. The fellow Narcissus Island core disciples were raving about the Ice Queen. Jian Wushuang did not say much and just casually smiled. He was actually very surprised. After a while, Narcissus Island disciples were back in focus. Zhong Yi and Su Tong stood together. In the previous battle, all 5 of us have suffered varying degrees of injuries, especially junior brother Wei Qing, whose injuries are serious. Our combat powers are less than 10% of our normal state. It's indeed not suitable for us to wander in this outer area, said Su Tong. Well, what Miss Zhuo Bing said just now is correct. We have to depart ahead of time toward the inner area. There should be no one in the inner area at this time. We can go there to restore our divine powers and realm state first. Zhong Yi also nodded. Initially, their plan was to stay in the outer area for 10 days and collect more purple amulets before heading into the inner area, but they had to change their plans.